All right, well, let's try this again. Let's do the clappy thing. All right, hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to this another excursion out for me to put together this podcast for St. Cloud Catholic. Let's start that over again. Hey everybody, welcome to St. Cloud Catholic. This is a site that has at its heart evangelizing the Diocese of St. Cloud in central Minnesota. And this is the first sort of audio podcast that I'm going to put out to the world. I've done some using video, and this one's also going to be video, but this one's also going to go in the audio format. You probably don't care about all that, but I do because I have all these blinking lights that are telling me that this might not work. I'm going to go ahead and record it anyway because I don't know about you, but anytime that you step out and you try to do something that you feel like the Holy Spirit is really moving you to do, then I think you get a lot of blinky red lights too, don't you? Or at least I feel like that spiritual warfare just happens. But let's just continue and see how this all works. So in this little short episode, what I want to do is just give you a brief overview of what I'm up to, where I think what I'm doing fits in the Diocese of St. Cloud, and how you can help to rebuild this as hopefully the best place to raise a Catholic family. That's the goal. The goal for me is to be able to bring families together, and by bringing all those families together, strengthen their own family, the domestic church, their own family, and then by doing that, we make this into the best place to raise a Catholic family. And you know what? If that hurts other dioceses out there, if they think, oh, who are these people to do that? Well, good. Then let's compete in this holy quest to raise holy families. So what does this look like? What does this mean? Well, I put together a few things, and it's exciting for me to talk about because these are actual things that you could go to and find, and they're there. It's not like plans. This is it. This is what we've developed. This is what I've developed over the last several months. And so this is where we're at. Now, the first thing is I've put together a newsletter. And so you can go to stcloudcatholic.com and you can sign up for the newsletter. Now, this newsletter, the grand vision is to turn it into a magazine, and that magazine will tell the story of the Diocese of St. Cloud. We have such a rich history here in the Diocese of St. Cloud, and I love it. I just love learning about all the people that came before us. We have so many hospitals that had been built, and orphanages that were founded, and schools that were built, and parishes that were built, all these, religious vocations, all these things. And I think we've forgotten about it, or at least maybe we never knew it. But we need to rediscover it because we find ourselves at this point in our diocese history where we're about to tear down a lot of stuff. And I don't even think we understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And that is a criticism. Yes. Why are we tearing down schools? Why are we tearing down churches? Why are we doing away with so much? What are we moving forward towards? And so that's where the heart of my criticism lies, is I don't know what our goal is in 10 years. And I've done videos in the past about the projections from the diocese. And as a layperson, that's above my pay grade, and they don't ask me for my opinion, and that's fine. But I also haven't heard a plan. And so as someone who lives here and wants to raise a family here, what am I supposed to hope for moving forward? And so because I haven't heard a vision from anyone else, and I've asked everybody, trust me, I've asked everybody, because I haven't heard a vision moving forward, now it's time for lay people to start trying to just worry about yourself, right? It's like with St. Benedict. When Rome was falling, he didn't try to rebuild Rome. He tried to rebuild himself. He tried to rebuild those around him. And then through that, he built Western civilization. So for us as lay people, and for St. Cloud Catholic and its mission, if we can create a holy culture in our family, if we can give our kids wonderful opportunities to network with other kids, if we can give our parents wonderful opportunities to network with other parents, and we're all moving in the same direction, then I think the schools will follow, the orphanages will follow, the churches will follow. Not because this is my idea, this is just the idea of those who have come before us. Our diocese comes from, people with missionary hearts that decided to travel all the way across the world. And then they saw the need for Jesus to be proclaimed here. And then they built things. And then they said, hey, you guys, come on over. And so we got a lot of immigrant groups that came on over, and they were all looking for the same thing. They were all moving in the same direction. Father Piers, that missionary priest who was in this area at the beginning, he wrote to them and he said, hey, come here. This will be the best place to raise your family. All your spiritual needs will be provided for you. So we're really just doing what has happened in the past. We just have to do it all over again. That's a good plan, actually. It's a good plan. And you can go back to St. Francis de Sales. You can look back at all the revolutions in the church. You know, a revolution is really a return. It's a return to something, a return to the origin. And so for us as families, as communities, maybe we just need to return to Jesus in a more deep and profound way. So that's what we're doing here. So anyway, so that's the newsletter. I want to explain that history so that everybody knows that history and can be part of that shared vision moving forward. And, you know, there'll also be things in that newsletter about upcoming events, and I'll share some of those with you here. But by and large, that the goal is to get everybody on the same page, to help us work from the same playbook so that we know what we're moving towards. And anyway, now the second thing that I've done, and I won't spend a lot of time on these because there's too much to talk about here, but we need to form ourselves. We have to have formation for our youth, for our adults, for everybody, for our priests, for our bishop. I mean, I'm not saying that anything about any of those people, except like there should be this hunger and this desire to continually form ourselves. And, you know, people out there are. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just saying, wow, there's such a great opportunity in front of us to provide for opportunities for formation. And so what I went ahead and did, because I don't want to be a complainer, I want to be someone that builds instead of someone that critiques and tears down. And so I went ahead and I built it. So we have a college, and it's an online college that will also have an in-person place that will do assessments and whatnot. But it's built. It's built. I'm not going to reveal it just yet because the purpose of this video is to kind of get through this all and get to what we have up and coming in the very near future. I want to spend time on that. But we have a newsletter, we have a college, and then the third thing that I did was we created a school. Or not a school. We can't call it a school. So it is not a school. It is an academy. It's an online academy for home-educated families. I'm finding that most of the families that I know that really, really care about raising their children in the faith, they're finding themselves at odds with sending their children in this diocese to Catholic schools, because the Catholic schools in this diocese are not schools. Well, most of them, because some of them probably are, but most of them, they're not schools that somebody who really cares about sending their kids to a Catholic school would send them to. And or raising their kids in the Catholic faith would send them to without reservation. And we shouldn't have to have that reservation. We should know that when we send our kids to a Catholic school, that they're getting the Orthodox Catholic faith. Just like if you were to send your kids to like a Green Bay Packer school, right? You would never want them to talk about the Minnesota Vikings and how great the Vikings were and the Purple People Eaters and all this stuff. Like, no, you would want them to talk about Lambeau Field, to talk about how Brett Favre is the best quarterback of all time, how Curly Lambeau was remarkable, and how it's Lombardi Trophy after all, Titletown USA, all these things, right? You really want your kids to have that what they're going to school for. Now, you could say, Ryan, you're being too harsh on the Catholic schools and the diocese and all this stuff. But no, I'm not. I've worked for the Catholic schools and the diocese. I've been told things by administrators that I'm not going to repeat here because it doesn't matter. But like that's just not up to snuff with what it means to be a Catholic and what it means to have a Catholic school. You can even go right now to there's a principal opening at the local Catholic high school, and they don't require that principal to be Catholic, the new hire. They don't require the new hire to be Catholic. That's a problem, and that's a systemic problem. We should want Catholics to teach at Catholic schools, and we shouldn't be afraid in those Catholic schools to say that the Catholic Church is the fullness of truth, right? So I'm just the one saying it. if you have an issue with that, like talk to the USCCB or the, who has said things like this, or go talk to the Pope or whatever. But anyway, so we started a college, we started a school, and we're not doing this to spite anyone. We're doing this because we just want more for our children and for our communities and for our families. And we want to rebuild this diocese and, again, make this the best place to raise a Catholic family. Now, the last thing, and the thing that really is why I made this video in the first place, is because we have some exciting events for those families coming up in this summer. And so a few things that we're doing, if you go over to stcloudcatholic.com, you can scroll down to a section called events. And on this events page, you can see that we've put together what I think is an awesome array of things. Not a lot of things, but an awesome array of things. The first one is Park Play Days. I think we call it Pray and Play, after some people in a co-op called theirs a Pray and Play, and we thought, that's a great name. They're not doing theirs anymore, so we said, we'll take it. That's wonderful, because it was such a life-giving event, and I thought it was so wonderful. But now that there's this vacuum that was created, we thought, let's do this, because we can expand it too. We can bring in more families, and really the more families, the better. We want this to be something where people that are that don't know each other will play together. Moms will get together for coffee, and dads will get together for grilling or whatever it is. And we want this to be a place where you can meet new people. And so we have these Park Play Days. And so they're listed on our website, and you can go check them out. But we've picked parks that are located around central Minnesota. We've started kind of with the St. Cloud metropolitan or micropolitan area, and then we'll go out from there. But you can stay tuned. We're adding more dates all the time, and that's on our website. And this is aimed for like under 5th grade is what I would envision. But they're parks and they're open to the public, so more people can come too if they want to. I don't know if they have a basketball hoop there and there's a teenage person that wants to play basketball while their younger kids play on the park. Whatever. It's just an informal kind of formal get together at a park. And then we have the one that I think is really cool, the Sports Extravaganza. So here's my thing with sports. My wife was a Division I volleyball player. I was a Division I football player, and we both kind of cringe at the idea of sports consuming our family life. But we still like sports. And so what we've done is we've put together what might be considered like an extracurricular activity, and we've just tried to bring it in to the work day, the school day, whatever you would call it in the summer. So we have, starting at 9:30 a.m., we put together these hour and a half sports samplers. So on June 9th, we're going to be doing baseball. Not t-ball, but baseball, so coaches will pitch. And so we'll spend the first 45 minutes just going through skills and drills, and then we'll spend the last 45 minutes, we'll break up into teams and we'll play a game. And we're going to do that on June 9th and then June 16th. And then on June 23rd, we're going to be doing soccer, and we're just going to work on agility and ball control and again, skills and drills for the first half of it. And we'll do that for two days, so June 23rd and June 30th. And then July 17th, we're going to do track and field and then capture the flag. On July 14th, we're going to do capture the flag and then end in kickball, because who doesn't like a good game of kickball? We have this huge kickball. Anyway, so that's what I think is. I just think that's going to be really fun for ages 5th grade and under. Really it's like entering 1st grade to entering 5th grade. That's the group we're looking for. And so you can register for those things on stcloudcatholic.com. And we're just going to keep trying to find ways to bring families together, to have, we live in such, I could go on and on about this and I'm not going to, but we live in such a fragmented society. But the Catholic Church has always been that thing that brings people into communion with each other. We gather, and we need to gather more to have strong families and to really bring about the renewal of this diocese. So that's our prayer for the diocese. It's not perfect. It's just a few people trying to do something, trying to do what we can. And by God's grace, his will be done. So if that's something you're interested in, check out stcloudcatholic.com. And we'll see you guys then. Please don't be too critical of this video. I'm making it. My kids are just sitting right there. It's nap time. My busy dad of 6. Guys, can you say hi? Yeah. Anyway, have a great day. We'll see you guys in another video. And spread the word.